Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to this fall reading vlog. We are starting my fall TBR this week. I have 4 books here that I feel like I've been saving for the fall. Like I have 4 books that I feel like screams fall. I have a romantasy, I have a thriller, I have one that I think is like magical realism, is this one. I feel like I've been waiting. I bought this during the summer, but then I read the synopsis and I was like, that just feels like it's like perfect for the fall, because our main character Delphi, she ended up dying and she met like this gorgeous guy in the afterlife, and I think the gorgeous guy was like a mistake. He was sent back to Earth, and I think she also went back to Earth, and then they meet on Earth. I really don't know, but yeah, I read the synopsis and I was like, that just, anything that has to do with like magical realism or like death, anything like that, someone dying, going to the afterlife or something, I think fall. So we have this one. Also, I don't know if you can tell, but I recently did how many books I have left on my physical TBR. Like I counted every book I have on my physical TBR, so I am now aware of every little book. I am aware of every book that I have left on my physical TBR. So I feel like a mind would read for this week, because I literally know every book. But the first one we're going to start with is for sure The Love of My Afterlife.
Free flowing, sailing with the wind, not knowing how this story ends. Kind and brave, I know you'll find a way. Live your truth and good will come to you.
Imagine you die and you go to the afterlife and you meet like your afterlife therapist, and she's just cracking, like she's just making a joke out of your life basically. She's just making a joke out of your life. She's like, oh babes, like what did you do? Your life is pretty sad. There was nothing exciting happening. So I'm going to chapter 4. Yeah, I'm going to chapter 4, page 27. I'm really early in, so I should probably just like not say anything, but I feel like I read like those 3 chapters really fast because I'm having such a fun time. And I feel like when I started this, I was like, I feel like I'm going to have a fun time reading this, and it's exactly what I wanted. Basically, we're following our main character Delphi, who's like on the first paragraph, she's like, this cannot be how I die. It really can't. So she's basically choking on this burger, this microwavable burger, and she's like, this cannot be how I die. Like she's choking on it, and I'm just like the whole time I'm reading the first chapter, I was eating McDonald's. So so I was like, well, this is not fun. Basically, our main character Delphi, she's choking on this burger and she's thinking that cannot be how I die. That literally cannot be how I die. And she's thinking about who's going to find her here, and she's thinking about like she should not wear this like PJ. She has this like nightwear on. She's like, oh my god, I look ugly. Who's going to find me? She's thinking about her neighbor. She's like is he going to be the one who find me? Who is going to find me? And I literally, like, from the first chapter I was giggling, and I'm just like, no, I feel like everyone has had one of those moments where you sit here and you like something is happening and you think, is this how I go? Like, is this my final moment on this earth, and who's going to find me? And I'm enjoying it. I'm really liking it. It's so good so far, and I love when a book just gets into like the story. Like it literally, like we meet her in the first paragraph, she goes to the afterlife, and then we also met the MMC, and I'm only in chapter 4, so I like it so far. I really truly like it. It's very fast-paced, it's very fun, it's easy to read, and I'm enjoying all of the characters that we met so far. We met our main character Delphi, we met our MMC, and we met Merit. Merit is another fun character I'm enjoying. She like basically works in the afterlife thing. Like she was in the afterlife, and it's just like the humor and the fun things that she would say to this girl. It's really fun. So I am on chapter 13. I'm at the part where she's back on Earth and she's basically looking for him. And this is the thing, the time that she has back on Earth, like, is actually limited. Like she has only like 10 days, and we are, I think it's her 4th day on Earth, and she has yet to see him. And after she see him, like something has to happen between them for her to stay on this earth. I'm just kind of like nervous because I'm just like, well, he's been 4 days and we haven't met, like we haven't seen him yet. And also like you can't, how are you going to see that person? Like he's not going to remember you. Like his memory is like wiped. Like he's not going to remember he went to the afterlife. How are you going to see him and convince him to like go on a date with you and for something to happen between you guys and for you to stay? Like I don't know, but that's what's quite exciting about it, because you're reading it and you're rooting for her, but then you also rooting for every little other characters that you meet. I don't know, I'm enjoying it. It's really, really fun so far. Another thing that I'm just really enjoying is that there's another character on like in here that like she and that other character do not get along, but then at the same time it's giving enemies to lovers. So I'm just like, is this what it is? Is this lesson? Is it the lesson that we're gonna get from this? I don't know, but I'm enjoying this other character. Okay, so I finished The Love of My Afterlife yesterday. I finished it. I really, really liked it. I love our FMC. I love her. I love the journey that she went through. I loved the writing, the dialogue, everything in this little book I really liked. But I have to say, I think I ruined the ending for me because I can't sit still and just enjoy a book. Like I have to predict, like I have to sit there and then like investigate the ending. And so there was this big thing, this big important twist or reveal that happened at the end of the book, but I saw it coming. And so because of that, when it happened, it was just not like a surprising shock to me. I was like, oh yeah, I knew that. I knew it. And I think it's my fault. I think it's my fault because I do this so often to a point where I will sit there and like make connection. Like if something is mentioned in chapter 15 that I think is important, I'm going to like underline, I'm gonna put like what I think is going to happen. And literally, I kid you not, I wrote something down, and then we like at the end of the book something was said and I was like, yeah, I knew it. Like I knew it. And I think I have to stop doing that because I like ruined the whole book. Like I predicted the whole thing, and I don't know, like I was really annoyed with myself because I felt like if I didn't investigate and if I didn't like think to like ahead of it, I would have enjoyed the ending more than I did. I don't know if I'm making sense, but yeah, I really ended up liking it. I feel like it's perfect for the season that we in. Like obviously the afterlife thing, I think it was perfect. I love our FMC. She was so funny, she was so silly at times, and you were just enjoying like her journey, and you were just enjoying her enjoying life and having a second chance at life. There was this neighbor of hers that she just cared so much for, and it was so nice to see because the neighbor was like an elderly type of man, and she just like the way that she cared for that neighbor and take care of that neighbor and making sure that that neighbor will be fine if she ended up going to the afterlife. Like I was just so proud of that. Like I was sitting there, I'm like, that is so nice. Like that is so nice. She was sitting there taking care of him, making sure he's okay. And the things that she did for that neighbor, she was so selfless and so funny and so silly at times that you couldn't help but like want the best for her, if that makes sense. Like we were all rooting for her. We were all rooting for you in the best way possible. Enjoyed it. I think it's perfect for the season that we in. Like it's lighthearted, but also with the obviously the afterlife setting of it is perfect for this little spooky season. It was really fun. After I finished The Love of My Afterlife, I posted, I was just like, can you guys choose between Divine Rival or Iron Flame? And Iron Flame ended up winning, and I started it this morning, and I am now in chapter 4, and I was so shocked how like I jumped right into the story. Like I think I read it like 7 something months ago. Like I read Fourth Rings like 7 months ago, and so going into this book I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be really confused. I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna know what happened. Like maybe I should read Fourth Rings first, like the ending of Fourth Rings, so I will know what's going to happen in Iron Flame. I think Fourth Rings were just like such a pivotal book in my like reading journey. It was such an important book that I just remembered everything that happened in Fourth Rings, that I opened this, I was like, oh yeah, I'm right back in there. I'm like, I know the world, I know everything that happened, I know all the characters, I know the roles that they play. I'm right back into this. And like I think it also helps that the fact that Iron Flame takes place right after Fourth Rings ended. And I have to say, like when I was like listening to the reviews that people were saying about Iron Flame, a lot of people were like, oh, I don't love it, I'm not enjoying it. And a lot of people had a problem with Violet. Like, I feel like everyone disliked Violet in like the beginning of Iron Flame, and I have to say I disagree and agree at the same time. Like, if you read Fourth Rings and then you read Iron Flame, and then you know why people had a problem with Violet, and I am on her side a little bit. Like, I'm like, well, like, he did promise her something and now he's not doing it. But then at the same time, I'm like, girl, give him a little time. Like, you just woke up and you just like, tell me everything right now, right this instant, I want to know everything. I'm like, girl, yes, like give him a second. Like, I feel like I'm talking gibberish if you have not read none of these books, but if you've read it, then you know what I'm talking about, and I won't sound so stupid. But I feel like Violet right now, she's just like on his back, just waiting for him to spill his guts out to her. And though I understand that because he did promise her that, I'm like, well, like, so many things happening right now. Like, you guys are just this little in this world, a lot of people in this whole world, so many things happening. Maybe you should just like wait for a little while before you just like tell me everything right now, this instant. I need to know things. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I think I'm going to read a couple of chapters and then switch to audiobook, and then like force myself to put my books up because I've been a little bit lazy. Every time I pass and I see them, I'm like, I'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow's today. I need to do it. Hi. Okay, today's low-key the perfect fall day. Today it's raining, it's cloudy, it's a little bit windy, and I'm home, and it's a Sunday. It's the weekend. It's like low-key the perfect fall day. I am going to chapter 19 in Iron Flame. I just read page 178. I have to say, yesterday we didn't talk, and I didn't read as much yesterday actually, so it's okay, but we didn't talk. And I feel like the reason why we didn't talk is because like nothing of significant has happened yet in this book. Like, a lot is happening, but nothing that I could say. Like, first, it's the second book out of the series, so like I can't say too much, but even if I wanted to say something, nothing important has happened yet. So it's kind of like, I don't have a check-in. But I feel like now that I'm going to chapter 19, chapter 20, I'm hoping that we're gonna get into the story more, because I feel like up until like page 178, like up until the last chapter I just read, everything was just like political and everything was like groundwork. And so I'm hoping and praying that this rest is going to be more things is going to happen. But I feel like the groundwork and the like political things that we've been getting from this first part has been good. It's been a little bit repetitive, but it's been good, you know what I mean? But it's needed at the same time. I like, when I was reading it last night, I'm like, oh god, it's a little bit repetitive. But then I keep thinking, well, like, there's a war coming, so we need to know all these rules. Also, we've been meeting a lot of people in this little part. We've been meeting a lot of people that I hate. Every single soul that we have met, and I have hated them all. Oh my gosh, I have hated them all. But yeah, it's been a little bit repetitive, really political, really plot heavy, you know, which I can say I like, because I want plots. I was afraid that it was going to be too romance based, because if you read romantasy or fantasy, then you know sometimes in the second book it's like full of romance and they forget about the plot, and then you just following two couples together with the like little bit of magic in the world. But this one, like the beginning, it's just been heavy, like heavy on the plot, which I'm liking. But I have to say it's a little bit repetitive, just like I'm repetitive right now, saying the same thing over and over again. But it's slightly repetitive. But I have to say, I still very much love Violet. And this one, I think it's so nice to see her like growing into herself. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like she's growing up and she's like learning new things, and the things that she's doing to like help some things, it's really, really good. I can't say too much because it's the second book, but Violet right now is doing a lot of things in the background of everything that's happening. But also it's nice to see her as a second year. Violet, Rhiannon, and all of their like group, they graduated and they are now second year, and it's nice to see them having like more responsibility. Like Rhiannon has a whole thing going on, everyone has their own stuff going on, and just nice to see. I feel like Violet is going to be a very good warrior, you know what I mean? Like I feel like she's going to just be like a badass, pardon my language, but I feel like she's going to be a little badass, because right now I'm like, I just know a lot of things is going to happen. Right now I'm going to chapter 19, and I feel like it's going to be really good. Hopefully, I'm hoping for some really like, I'm hoping for something else. I'm hoping for some good vibes, because I feel like we just made learning about the plots, but then I'm anticipating everything that's gonna come, because I feel like something big is going to come. But I'm going through chapter 19. I'm hoping today I can read and make it to part 2. I'm praying and hoping I can make it to part 2, maybe start part 2. But today, like I said, is the perfect day for fall, so I want to have some cozy little fall moments. I want to bake. I have a pumpkin, but I don't know if I want to paint my pumpkin today, because I kind of want to go on a picnic to paint my pumpkin. So I feel like I want to bake, I want to light some candles, and then I want to have some jazz music in the background. This is like perfect fall to me. It's basically like my everyday, but it's fall, so I'm gonna light some fall candle and I'm going to bake, and we're going to, I think I'm going to switch to audiobook while I like bake and stuff, so I could still be reading this book. Someone's alive. Someone who died is alive. Oh my god. I did not see that coming at all. I didn't see it coming. I had my guesses, but not that. Hi guys, okay, I come with notes. Hi guys, we have not talked since Sunday night. Yesterday I had the worst stomach pain. I stayed in bed because I was struggling. A woman to tell you, it's fun until that one time of the month, and it's like I don't really want to be that. But I finished this, and I also started another book yesterday, and I also finished it. So this is the thing, I really liked the ending. I love the ending. But I don't think I loved the whole book. I felt like it was just super duper long. I understand why we needed to know so much like information. I can't say too much, but I understand. If you read this book, then you know what I'm talking about. I understand why we needed to know so many people, the important names, the important things about the 3 different world kingdom type of thing. Like I get that, but there was so many things my brain did not save. The information was gone. Like I felt like I read 3 chapters and it was just giving me all the information about these people that I'm supposed to care for, and it was gone. That's how much information I felt like I was receiving, and I just couldn't care for it. I was like, I don't care. I don't care. This one thing. And if you read the book, then you know what I'm gonna say. Xaden and Violet was just so repetitive. They had this one fight. They were fighting about the same thing for 600 something pages. I felt as if I was going insane. I'm like, oh my god, am I reading the same chapter over and over again? Like Xade, if you read this book, then you know Xaden and Violet, they fought for the whole book. They fought about the same thing to a point where I'm just like, who do I hate more right now? Is it you? Is it you? Is it you? Which one of you do I just want to say, please leave me alone? So much so, I think one of the characters had told Violet, hey, you guys have been fighting about the same thing. And I was like, okay, so they're aware of that. They know they've been fighting about the same thing. Why haven't you stopped this? But yeah, I feel like I'm being super, super negative. But let me tell you the notes that I took, because some of the notes that I took are actually funny. I was cracking myself up this morning. So I did cry for Violet when she was being tortured. I don't know if it's because I was on my period, but when I tell you I was crying, I was literally on my bed crying for this girl. She was being tortured, and I was just like, this is not a spoiler. Like, we know some of the things about Fourth Rings and Iron Flame. She was being tortured and I couldn't handle it. I was on the bed and I just started crying out of nowhere, and I was drinking my tea and I was just like, this is so sad. Like, I think I cried for a good 20 minutes. Like, I did. I said, I'm passionately waiting for that stupid dragon to die. There was this one dragon. There's this one dragon in here. Every single time they open the mouth, I'm like, oh my God, rip his throat out. Blast them with fire, please, I beg of you. But I can't say what happened to that dragon because that will be a spoiler. But if you read the book, then you know what dragon I was talking about. I wanted nothing but bad things to happen to that dragon. So that was one of the notes that I took. And I said, I still can't trust Violet's mom. And this is the thing. I was in the middle of the book and I was like, I don't know if I trust this lady. I don't know if I trust her or not trust her. Because sometimes one minute I'm like, I think she's okay. And then the next minute I'm like, I don't trust you at all. And the next minute we learn something about her past. I'm like, girl, like, you are just horrible. But now that I finished the book, I feel like I know why I put her. I know her. I know why. But like, I promise you, the whole book, I'm like, I really don't trust that girl. I really don't trust her. Like, how are you as a mom and you are just that horrible? Another little notes that I took was, oh my God, I love Indana. That's it. There was no reason. Like, I feel like this whole book, I was like, oh my gosh, like, what dragon do you want? Indana. And now that's it. I don't really care about anything and anyone else. And I'm so incredibly excited to see the powerful dragon she's going to be in the next book. The next one that I have is They Didn't Bother My Soul. That's it. That's the note. And this is it. This is the reason why I'm saying that. This man and Violet fought the whole book, but I felt like Xaden was the reason for the fight. Like, I knew Violet was annoying. Like, if you read the book again, you know what I'm talking about. But I knew Violet kept saying like the same thing, like, you're not telling me everything, tell me this. But if only Xaden were to say A to Z from what she wanted, if only this man opened his mouth and just tell her what she wanted to hear, we could have saved 300 pages of this book. Because I swear 300 pages of this book was them fighting. I felt like we could have saved that. And the fact that he kept saying, well, you didn't ask, I'm like, you wanted her to ask you this question. You couldn't have just said, hey, this is my history. This is what I've been through. This is this. Like, I literally was so just annoyed. And I was like, oh my God, he's so annoying. And every single time they fight, they make up. And I'm like, I don't even care for this anymore. But yeah, these were all my very unhinged thoughts. I don't know if any of the things I just said make sense, but if you read the book, then you know. And I hope that everything I just said makes sense. Yeah, I went from a 5-star because I love Fourth Rings. I felt like it was such an important book last year for me. I loved that book so much. I remember everything that happened in that book. Just this one, I just didn't love it. I think, like I said, one, I felt like it was too long. I felt like it was a little bit repetitive and like Violet and Xaden part. And I do understand the history and I know why it's so important. And my husband sat there and told me all of this reason. I was like, baby, I know. I'm aware. I still didn't think we needed all of this. But yeah, I love the ending. I feel like the reason why I'm giving it like a 3.5 or maybe a 3.7, it's because of the ending. It's how much the ending just like, I was at the edge of my seat, the edge of my bed the whole time I was reading the thing. I was like, oh my God. I was like worried about absolutely completely everyone. I was worried about every single character. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. So much so I'm like texting my husband, did anyone die? Like, just tell me right now. I can't help it. I can't help it. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the 3.7 after Iron Flame. I just wanted to read something that was not going to be too crazy, too like as high fantasy as this one. And I was just like, you know what? I've heard this is a very funny book. So I picked this up and I read it. I think I finished this whole thing in like 4 hours. And this was the most unserious book I've ever read. And I had such a wonderful time the whole time. The whole 400 pages is this, the whole how many pages this was. I I was laughing, I was cracking up, I was in my bed just like, wait, no, this is actually too funny, that I'm just like, wow, like I haven't read the first of the series, and I got mad at myself because I haven't read it. The first book of the series called The Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon, and I'm like, I don't think I want to read about demon, but it's just so funny that I'm like, no, I might pick it up. It is so funny. Let me tell you about this very unserious book. It is about Dante, who is a dragon who can shift, like he can turn himself into a perfect looking human being. And we were following our FMC, and her name is Cherry, and Cherry got kidnapped by this other dragon for years. I think she was kidnapped for like 5 years, and she was like put in this tower, and that dragon never talked to her. So 5 whole years she didn't have anyone to talk to, nothing. There were little frogs in this world also that cook, the frogs talk, all of this. It's very cozy fantasy. Think about cozy fantasy world, and this book had it pretty much. But the whole premise of the book is that Dante he wants to find his like queen, he's like match basically, because every one of his friends that are dragon have already found their mate, and he's like the only one who hasn't found his mate, and he's kind of like annoyed about it. Like literally everyone, every dragon found their mate. And I believe the 2 books are about his friends, which I really want to read this fall, but he was just like annoyed about it. He's like, I really want to find my mate. And the book opened up with him being that tired, right? And then he went to visit one of his dragon friend, and turns out the dragon friend that he went to visit, like it was like more like family friend, but that dragon that he went to visit is actually the dragon that kidnapped Cherry, our FMC. And so he saw her. No, he smelled her in the air. He smelled her vanilla skin aroma. He was just like, that's my mate. I don't have to see her. I know it's her. And then he helped her escape. The most craziest thing possible. But then when he helped her escape, she said, bring me home. But she wasn't specific. She didn't say bring me to my home. So he just put her over at his home, and she's like, I'm sorry, what am I doing here? It's like, you said bring you home. And she's like, I meant my home. He was like, I'm sorry, you weren't specific enough. And obviously because that's his mate, he just think like, well, that should be fine, that's your home anyway, like you're going to be here. And we just followed him, and it was unserious but funny, and I felt that it was just exactly what I wanted. When I tell you the amount of time I just sat there and I'm cracking up, forgetting that I'm sick, forgetting that I am a woman in pain. I was just laughing. I was like, oh my god, this is just so, it was just so unserious. And I'm not saying that in a disrespectful way. Like it was cozy fantasy unserious. It was fun. It was so fun. It was so perfect. I ended up giving it like a 3.8 for what it is. It's cozy fantasy. It's funny. I read it in like 4 hours. I will highly recommend this. I will very much highly recommend this. I think it was really, really fun. Don't go into it thinking it's going to be a serious book. It is not. It is not. But yeah, we just followed Dante and her, and it was funny. And I don't know what else to say about this, because I feel like anything else I would say will spoil it. But just pick it up if you want a very fun book. Like if you read a high fantasy like that and you're just like, I just want something to like cleanse my palate, it's a cleanse palate book. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. But this week we ended up reading 3 books: The Love of My Afterlife, Iron Flame, and The Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Human. I'll very much recommend all 3 of them. I feel like these 2 books are like cleansing book, you know what I mean? I feel like this was really fun and perfect for this time of year, and this was also really fun and perfect for this time of year. Honestly, recommend them if you are in need of like to cleanse your palate. I think these were perfect. But yeah, Red Iron Flame finally is 3.75. But that's all that I did this week. I'll see you next time. God bless you, stay blessed, and I'll see you in my next reading vlog. Bye.